Welcome to the Totally Honest Cooking Show. I'm Mark. Today we're doing a congee with wilted lettuce and mushrooms. This recipe comes from Congee Lopez Alt's The Wok. We're not using a wok for the first part. We'll use a wok for the second part. It's just easier that way. I'm lazy today. A congee is a form of rice porridge. We're starting with a half a cup of uncooked jasmine rice and 5 cups of stock. Okay, the rice is in the pot. It's on high. We're going to stir it every now and then. Once it comes up to a simmer, we'll do the rest of the instructions. Recipe calls for 4 ounces of shiitake mushrooms sliced thinly. My grocery store was out of shiitake, so I got portobello mushroom caps. I also got oyster mushrooms, but I wasn't sure if those would work. Also, I don't use oyster mushrooms very much, and they frighten me. Just being honest. So I'm slicing them and I'm cutting them in half. And honestly, this is probably enough right here. I'm going to cut the rest anyway and toss them in. We're also going to need half a teaspoon of soy sauce and 1 tablespoon of Shoeseng cooking wine. I don't have Shoeseng cooking wine. I'm still gluten-free. So this is dry sherry, which you can substitute at 1-to-1. And in just the amount of time it took to cut up the mushrooms and pour out my liquids, it's come to a boil. So I'm turning it down to a simmer, and I'm going to let it simmer for about an hour. About an hour later, and it's thickened. So now we're going to prep a couple things for our wok. First off, I want about 4 ounces of our mushrooms, so there they are. The rest can get wrapped up and go in the fridge. Next up, we've got some romaine lettuce, which we're going to wash. So now we're going to cut in 1/2-inch ribbons, just straight down. And we're cutting on the diagonal, just because I didn't say that, but we are. Then we're just going to thinly slice some scallions. And we're doing about 3 of them. Recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic smashed up in a mortar and pestle. I'm going to do garlic press because it's faster, and also my mortar sucks. Also, I used 3 cloves, don't tell anybody. So we've got our wok over very high heat, and we're waiting for it to smoke lightly. Once you start to see it, you're going to throw in a tablespoon of oil. Give it a swirl. Now we're going to throw our mushrooms in. And toss. Be careful not to get them all over the floor. After about a minute, you're going to throw your garlic in. Toss that around too. Garlic's not breaking up. I'm going to bring in the spoon. Once you can really smell the garlic, you're going to add your soy sauce and your wine, or in this case, I'm using the port. And again, you're cooking this off. Those smell delicious. Okay, and she's done. One reason I love the wok is that cooking in a wok is fast. Now we're adding the mushrooms back into our rice. Bring that up to a simmer. Stir this in, and you can already see the color being impacted. Oops, sorry, bad camera angle. The wok angle and the pot angle are not the same angle. So I've added the mushrooms back into the pot, and I'm giving it a stir while I wait for the liquid that's remaining to start to simmer a little bit. And once that happens, I'm throwing in my lettuce. Giving it a twiddle about. We want it to wilt. Now, the recipe did call for a whole head of romaine lettuce. I have no idea whether that was too much, but I followed the instructions. I promise. Okay, now we're going to toss in some of the shallots. I threw about half of them in there. Now, personally, I think I cooked out too much of the broth. So, you may wish to add a little bit more back in. You can do that. I'm going to add about a cup of water to this because it doesn't look like it has any liquid left. Don't worry, a cup of water is fine. There is so much broth in this rice right now. Oh my God. I've got a cup of hot water that I boiled. Just going to stir that in. Now it looks kind of like the picture on the cookbook. And there we are. Look at that. Also, make sure you taste and salt and pepper to taste. He recommends white pepper because it won't spoil the look. Okay, it's just past 7 p.m. and I'm hungry. So like, subscribe, ding the little bell, leave a comment down below. Let me know how I'm doing. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.